welcome back to the channel. I'm here with you again. Today we are going to learn chapter 18, which is about the high CP. Before we start, let's see what we are going to learn today. Before we start, let's see what we are going to learn today. Okay, first, we will learn the basic concept of the high CP. Second, we will practice the HCP configuration based on the topology that we have prepared. And finally, we will configure the IP address automatically for the client. So without further ado, let's start with the first topic. The first topic is the basic concept of the HCP. The The DHCP or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol is used to assign an IP address automatically to device in a network. So we don't have to configure the IP address manually, one device at a time. The DHCP is divided into two main parts, the HCP server and the HCP client. The DHCP server is responsible for assigning IP addresses, while the DHCP client receives the IP address from the DHCP server. In our topology, the router acts as the DHCP server, and meanwhile the client and the other server will act as the HCP client. Okay, now let's move on to the practical season. Okay, next. Now let's move on to the practical session. The first step in the first step is to install the DHCP packet on the router. Here I will remotely access the router using the client. I will also remotely access the server. But before installing the patches, we need to make sure that the router is connected to the internet. We can check the internet connecting by using the command is google.com. As we can see, the router is connected to the internet. That means we can continue to the next step. Okay guys, since we are connected to the internet, we can move to the next step. The next step, you can type like this. Here you can follow me. Type apt install dhcp service and press enter and wait until the process is successful. You can click Y and enter and wait until the process is successful. Okay, when you are finished, you can open and go to uh, nano slice etc slice default slice esc dhcp server presenter and in the interface v4 we need to specify which interface we are going to use for the DHCP server. For this configuration we will use adapter. Press Ctrl X, Y, and enter. After that, you can reboot the router. The router will automatically return to the client if we check the router. We can see that it is still rebooting, so we just need to wait for it to finish. Okay guys, after the reboot is done, we can remove the router again. After that, we can go in as root first and go to nano slice integer slice dhcp slice dhcp and enter and we can click ctrl plus w You can see the board right here. Once you have to remove the symbol, so the configuration will be active, and you can follow my configuration. Sorry everyone, there was a mistake in the DHCP server configuration earlier. In this, the configuration should have been changed here, in here, and now it has been corrected. The next steps remain the same. I'm just fixing the configuration error. That's done. We can press Ctrl X, Y, and press enter. We start the DHCP server service using system ctrl. Restart and enter. Alright, if everything is done, the DHCP server configuration is now complete. Next, we are going to configure the DHCP client on the Ubuntu desktop. We can open a new terminal, and but for this part, we only need to change the network setting. First, go to wired setting and go to the IP address. Wired setting, go to the address. Sign it was set to manual before. Change the IP version to automatic. Once that's done, click apply. Then we can disable and enable the connection again to refresh the network setting. Go back to the terminal and run sudo netplan update and press enter. Then we can check the IP address using IPR. As you can see, we now have an IP address starting with 172.16.1.11. Before this, the IP address was 172.16.1.2. So now the Ubuntu desktop has successfully received an IP address automatically from the DHCP server. Let's try to ping the router. Uh, Ping. Okay, and as you can see, it works. Yeah. Next, let's try to ping google.com, and then ping. This also worked. Now let's move on to the last topic, which is fixes address server. First, we can access the router from the client. Okay, and then sudo nano slash exchange slash on and press enter. And we can click we can click ctrl plus W and type host Fantasia and press enter. Right here, once you have to remove the symbol, so the configuration will be active. We also need to remove the lines below. After that, we can define the setting here. we need to enter the MAC address of the client and specify the fixed address, which is the IP address that we want the client to receive. To find the MAC address of the Ubuntu desktop, we can open a new terminal and type IPR. To look for the line that says link here. In here, the value next to it is the MAC address. We can copy the MAC address, copy and then go back to the router here. In the hardware Ethernet section, remove the exiting value and pass the MAC address we copied earlier like this. Next, in the fixed address section, enter the IP address that we want to assign to the client. In this case, use. Once that's done, save the configuration. To restart the DHCP server using sudo systemctl restart DHCP server and press enter. Since the DHCP server has been restarted successfully, we also need to restart the network connection on the Ubuntu client. Go to wireless setting. Okay, and just like before, disable and enable the network interface to refresh the connection. After that, go back to the terminal and run netplant play. Okay, check the IP address using IPR. As you can see, we have uh, no received the IP address that we want, which is 172.16.1.1.27. However, the IP address is still sound as dynamic, and that's the purpose of the fixed address configuration. Alright everyone, that's all for today's video. I'm sorry if I made any mistake or if my pronunciation was unclear. Thank you for watching this video until the end. See you in the next video. Bye.